to another episode of RevXP Present. I'm Chris Mann, the SVP of RevXP, the gaming and esports division of Revolution, the global integrated sports marketing agency. And today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Jason Scorrano, the Vice President of Sales at RTS. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, buddy. When we're not playing Apex or talking about our glory days at West Virginia, it's always fun to talk and catch up on the business. So for those of you out there,
sorry,
I don't want to date us. So for those of you guys out there who aren't familiar with Jason and his work, he's been in this industry for about a decade. He's worked across branded media. He's led gaming events and live stream platforms, working with things such as Turner and Twitch, and now is currently at RTS. So with that, Jay, it has been a crazy weekend in gaming. We're recording this on October 3rd. We're coming off League of Legends World Championship starting, first time back in North America since 2016. A lot of really exciting things going on there. Dream, after 8 years on YouTube and one of the most popular creators within the Minecraft community, revealed his face in a really creative way over the weekend. So it's a really cool time to be catching up and talking about things in gaming. But let's start off and talk about what games are you playing?
Yeah, as you mentioned off the top of the call, I've been playing Apex pretty much as much as I possibly can with two kids for the last few years, and then still dabble in some of the sports games that come out, and then things like Tiny Tina or Elden Ring that come out and kind of catch my attention. But as we don't want to age ourselves, timing is limited, so it's what I can still jump into and be just okay at, because I was never good at video games anyway. But mainly, my main is Apex.
That's good, man. Well, we got to get back on Tiny Tina Wonderlands for all our friends at Gearbox out there. That is Borderlands franchise is one of the best, and I know I've been pushing you to play that for a while. I just got my hands on a Steam Deck, and I've been playing a ton of Spider-Man on there, catching up because I hadn't had a PlayStation, and I can't believe the experience. It's really incredible. So for anyone on the offense about getting a Steam Deck, here's your sales pitch for the. They're not sponsoring us, but it's a pretty cool experience.
Christmas is coming up.
That's right. The holidays are coming. So Jay, we'd like to keep this quick. We have two questions really focused on how brands can learn more about gaming and the gaming and esports industry. So let's start with, what are some ways brands can think about entering gaming through RTS and your events that you work on, such as EVO?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So RTS, we were formed out of Endeavor. So we've been working with a bunch of different brands across a multitude of things, and that can be with creators, that can be with our event portfolio, which is led by EVO, or we can help brands enter in different ways and in any way they want to. But specifically with EVO, what we're really excited about is the future of the fighting game community, or the FGC. The release of Multiverses over the summer, although it's a beta, but it's still performing extremely well on all of the different stores you can download that game in, and continues to add more characters and iconic IP to the game. And then you fast forward to Street Fighter 6. It's going to be coming out in late spring, early summer. Really excited about that game, because it's going to be a new world, more open world, a little bit much more of a community opportunity, and then our work with PlayStation across all of those games, where we're extremely connected with PlayStation in the sense of they co-own EVO with us, but then we also have opportunities across their platform to use the over 100 million PS users. Unfortunately, Chris, you're not one of them. To be able to advertise and to be able to focus and to build authentic, I hate using that word, but it's the truth. Things that really, and we talk about this a lot with some of your brands, how can we actually affect the grassroots, the actual community? How can we provide actual value to them? Right? That is what we really care about at RTS, and that's why we continue to talk about some of your brands and potentially how we could work together. But what we always focus on is, how do we actually help the space, not just showing up and putting a logo in.
Yeah, I think that's why we work so well together, because everything that we've done, we do at RevXP, everything I've done before I've got here, the success that I've been able to have in working with such a vast variety of brands and top tier brands is not how do we put our logo somewhere, but how do we add value to the gaming community experience? And those of you that are watching this, is probably like you're beating a dead horse when you hear us talk about this, but that really is key to this entire industry, is how do you add value to that experience? Knowing that every game community is different. Every gaming community is different. And the reason why I want to have you on here is because we haven't had anyone on to talk about the FGC. And one of the things that's really intriguing about the FGC is it's the most diverse community in gaming by far. And it was something that was born out of the arcade. And it's something that continues to provide a huge white space and opportunity for brands looking to come in. And with what you guys have done at RTS, and shout out to Stuart, I know obviously him and I worked together at Endeavor, and you and I have known each other for a while. Like the fact that you guys were able to come in with Sony and take over this marquee property such as EVO, and now you're going to actually make that into the true event, a premier event, which it should have been before. It was in terms of viewership, but not probably the experience, and that's where you guys are going to come in. And so that's a huge opportunity. It's a big white space for brands.
Yeah, for sure. And as you mentioned, it was born out of the arcade. So the level of entry, the barrier to entry wasn't really existed. It was a quarter, and now it's just owning a console system. And there is lots of diverse communities across the globe with EVO. We are going to be having EVO Japan coming up in late March, early April. And we're really excited about that because that's going to be bringing together the globe. It's been it's very difficult the last 3 years to have live events. Japan is just opening back up. And some of the most iconic figures within the FGC have been from Japan and other parts of Asia, as well as now growing into Brazil and LATAM and EMEA. And the other unique thing of the FGC that I really want to bring out to everyone is the fact that 70% of the people that are showing up there are competing. So they're not just there to watch, they're there to engage. And I think it's a distinct difference between, you mentioned League of Legends File, it's amazing, there's so many viewers of that, but they're not competing. They're going there to watch, and that's really good. There's tons of engagement opportunities there, but the distinct difference in the FGC is the people that show up are generally going to be the people competing, and then they get to play their biggest stars, and there's lifelong memories that get made.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things that's really cool, especially about an event like EVO, is FGC games are some of the most popular and iconic IPs out there. You talk about Street Fighter. Mostly everybody knows Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat's been around forever. There's Dragon Ball Z. But one of the ones you just mentioned, Multiverses, is is a new IP just summer. And as you hit on, it's absolutely been crushing it, right, on the viewership and on the game, in terms of the community picking up and playing it. Can you talk about a little bit about that IP? And for those that are out there and aren't familiar with it, what kind of the gameplay, but also what IP is showing up in that? Because I think that's really interesting because it's premier marquee IP.
Yeah, so it's a platform fighter, much like Nintendo Smash Brothers. The main difference is there's definitely different game mechanics to it, but it's the whole Warner Media, DC, Adult Swim, where I used to work at Turner universe, including NBA stars, Space Jam specifically with LeBron James. And they're continuing to add to that. For me, I was really excited to see him add Rick and Morty to the event. They started with, it's really cool for someone like myself with a daughter at 6 that's just in the video game playing age. She could play as Wonder Woman, and I could play as Rick or Morty, and we can have a great experience together. So it's uniting generations, and that's the other thing about the FGC. A lot of these games were started in the 90s, and they have fandom that has been around for the last 30 to 35 years. So it is continued to generate more fans of a young generation that can play together. So there's a lot of ways that you can get in with the whole family unit for the FGC.
Well, I think that's really important too, because we think about gaming, and we always when we ever talk to brands about, hey, why you should be in gaming, it's an opportunity to future-proof your business. Talk to your current consumer and your future consumer. And I believe there was a New York Times article that came out a few months ago where they said 72% of parents are playing games with their children. I know I'm playing with my son. I know you play with your kids. You just mentioned it. And when I think about gaming, it's gamers are aging up. They're passing that fandom down, whether it's of a specific game, a game IP, an esports team, a league, a creator that's age appropriate. They are passing that fandom down, and I think that that's something really interesting. I don't think that brands consider the long-term impact of getting in there now and growing that brand affinity and being part of the community and adding value to the experience, not necessarily at a young age, because there's always the sensitivity about marketing to a younger demographic, but hey, if I'm playing Fall Guys with my son, which is what we did for an hour yesterday, and he's asking me, he wants to be Sonic or Knuckles, and we're being Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, his mom's being Tails for Halloween, he has a love for Sonic already, everything he wants is Sonic, and so that's something that's being passed down, and I don't think, hopefully brand marketers are realizing that as an opportunity to engage a younger demographic, but also your current and future consumer.
That really hits a nostalgic chord with me. I was a Genesis user, and some people I grew up with were Super Nintendo users, but I chose Sonic, so I really appreciate you dropping my characters. But honestly, it does gamers are aging up, and the younger generation, they're all gamers, right? So it is a national pastime, for lack of a better term now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the main source of entertainment for 18 to 34-year-olds over the last decade. It's, I believe gaming has overtaken television, which is incredible. Yeah. So, Jay, as we close out here, one question I always love to ask everyone. I know you're really interested in Web3 and crypto. There's a lot on your plate in terms of innovation, especially what you guys are doing at RTS and how you're evolving the FGC. But what are some innovations that brands should really keep in mind and have their eye on? As we always like to... You always hear, hey, we want to do things first. We want to be there before everyone else is. And I think that's something you've got some probably great takes on that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of buzzwords, right, in nowadays. And, the market's cooled a little bit, but I think that's a good thing in terms of a bear market. We can really innovate. When we talk about Web3, metaverse, crypto, all those terms, it's really taking your utility that is being built within these terms, whether that's ownership within games or taking the value that you've built up within a game and being able to transfer it through. I think it's being smart as a brand and not jumping in and doing something for, within the Web3 world that is going to be for a small amount of folks. It's really thinking about how can I take some of the things that are being developed on the forefront of that technology and bring them back to the Web2 world. I think a lot of the game publishers are already kind of in the moving forward, and we do talk in Web 2.5, where they're integrating different tool sets that are being developed into their game without saying that these are Web3 technologies, but they're coming through it. So I think just brands need to be smart. They don't, I think that we're already past the big PR phase in terms of doing things within the Web3, and now it's about, and I think as I was talking about before, doing activations, engagements, technology, offers, and opportunities that really do affect the community, whether that's offering a value for all of the hard work you put into your skins and your character, or finding a way that a fan can engage in a unique way through an experience, through an on-site opportunity, through a non-fungible token, or whatever that may be.
Yeah. Value through experiences, through utility, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3 in gaming is really key. And I'm glad to hear, there's others out there, like-minded folks in the industry that are continuing to push those things on partnerships. So Jay, as we wrap this up, where can people find you in RTS and EVO on socials?
Yeah, so please, for RTS, we mainly communicate on LinkedIn as well as myself. But then with EVO, we have a pretty active Twitter handle, /EVO. And then pretty much that's where we activate. And then we're also on Instagram, YouTube, and we have our Twitch handles, twitch.tv/EVO 1 through 7. So when we do broadcasts, we are all over the place.
Got it. So we'll drop some of those links in our YouTube description for those watching on YouTube, and really appreciate you joining us. I know you'll be at TwitchCon this weekend, so enjoy the time back out there. I was there in 2019. I won't be there this week. This weekend, but Tony from our team will be there. I know that he'll be catching up with a lot of folks, but I will be at the Esports Business Summit this year. It is in the beginning of November, and I'm really excited we're, of course, in partnership with Synopsis Media. You'll probably be seeing this as part of the Thursday newsletter. And so remember, at Esports Business Summit, you could still register. The event's coming up November 1st, but registration is still available. Again, links in our YouTube. And for those of you that are out there watching this, we really appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Jason, thank you again for taking some time to join us. It's been a fun conversation, and we're looking forward to working with you with some of our brands in the future.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the time.
All right, guys, take care. Everyone have a good day.
Bye-bye.